Hello and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Here we are in the International LT. We have a triple load of, I don't even remember what, fireworks heading from, it would help if I actually kept it up, heading from Twin Falls, Idaho up to Sandpoint, Idaho. We have quite a bit of a trip to go to get this done, so let's go ahead, hop back into the cab, and get started on our trip here. I'm actually going to try to turn a little further to make sure we can get out of here a little bit better, because I didn't want to get stuck in between the light poles and the crates there. We are... Hold on, I got to focus on this because I want to get this right. I don't want to have all those trailers behind me get all stuck. Let me get this right here. And then I'll pull out as far as I can to try to make sure that those trailers all go where they're supposed to go. All right, cool. I think we made it. Before we get too far in the video, I'd like to ask you to help us to reach our next channel milestone of 10,000 subscribers by clicking that subscribe button. The number only goes up if you press the button. Be sure to go ahead and do that now. Hit the like button to spread the video out to more people so that they can subscribe. And then also, when you're done watching this video, we have more than 1,600 other videos on the channel, organized into nice, neat little playlists for your convenience. And I play a bunch of different kinds of games, so after a year plus of doing this, there's definitely something on there for you. So be sure to go check that out after we're done here. Also, in the last episode where we kind of came back to the trucking series, I mentioned that I was kind of curious about your guys' thought about what kind of format to do for this. Maybe doing some more time-lapsey kind of things where, you know, we do the pickup and kind of heading out of town in a real time, and then maybe doing a time-lapse once we get onto the open road, and it's kind of more of the boring driving part. Not sure if I'm going to do that, though, because the problem is that a time-lapse it takes all the personality out of the video. And what I mean by that is that there's nothing to differentiate me from anyone else who does maybe like silent videos or other people who just do time-lapse videos. If you've seen one person do a time-lapse video, you've seen all the time-lapse videos, and it's just there's nothing to keep you guys coming back if I'm not actually interacting with you guys. So my thought process is that I'm probably going to try to make it so that excuse me. I'm probably going to try to make it so that we just do these all in real time, and I just kind of blabber at you guys for the duration of the video. For the most part, I've kind of gotten used to being able to just talk about stuff for the duration of a 20 to 30 minute video. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to stick too hard to the minimum time limits for this series, because of the fact that some of these rides can get pretty long, and I don't really want to go over the 30-minute mark for a video, especially today, because I'm trying to do my weekend videos. So lately my weekends have been on Friday and Saturday. So what I try to do is I'll try to record 2 videos per game that I play for the Wednesday and Thursday, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so that way I have enough content to cover my weekend, and that way I get consistent uploads every day. So that's what I've been trying to do. So especially on Wednesday and Thursdays when I sit down to record and I have all these extra episodes that I need to do, I'm kind of more leaning towards trying to keep each of the videos short so that my overall day isn't too much longer than what it already is. Okay, this is going to want us to turn to the left here. If you hear, I'm going to say this every episode because there's always going to be new people who don't know what the heck's going on. I drive with a controller because I don't have a really nice pedal and wheel setup and all of that. And because of the short throw of the sticks, as you can see here, it's not very easy to get fine control of the brakes, and I either end up under braking or way over braking, because it's just hard to find that sweet spot on a tiny little thumbstick controller like this. So what I end up having to do is tap the brakes, and unfortunately that makes it so that you have to hear that psh, psh, psh over and over again. So that's why that's happening. Apologies that the GPS is covered up. The only option to fix that would be to move my camera over to the other side, move the camera over here onto the other side of the screen. I'm not going to keep switching it back and forth. And frankly, you guys aren't going to get anything really out of the GPS. The only one who really needs to see that is me, so that I can make sure we know where we're going. So, sorry. But But yeah, so I think I'm going to do these in real time, and especially on like Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to try to keep them as short as possible, which means that realistically, we're probably only going to, I'm probably going to stop wherever the halfway point of this trip happens to be. So we have, you know, 540 miles to go. So once we get down to about 250 or so, you know, I'll probably be looking for a place to pull over and end the video, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the first half of this, stop the video, say goodbye, stop the video, and then immediately record the second half of this trip, and then have that published tomorrow as of the day of this recording. So that's kind of my thought process and my plan. So, you know, some episodes will be longer than others because I'll be willing to put the time into it, because I don't have to publish a bunch of extra videos to cover a weekend that, you know, I don't really want to, because I try not to record when my wife is off so that I'm available, and I don't want to be doing this stuff. I don't want to have to try to cram recording into other things. I want the day to be open so that if we decide to do something, we can go do something. So it just requires a little bit of, it requires a little bit of planning and a little bit of extra work on Wednesdays and Thursdays to make that happen, but it's worth it to me. So yeah, we'll probably do about a half of this trip. I'll pull over to the side of the road and we'll close out that, and then I'll immediately start recording the next video, and you guys can find out how the rest of this trip goes in the next episode. I was saying yesterday in the last episode, if you missed that one, that I just happened to come back to the game, back to the simulator when they had released a major update. I didn't even know that they were even releasing a major update that changed the interface and the menu and added some graphical things. I did go ahead and remove all of the mods that I had. So whatever it was, it looks a little bit different today from yesterday because I had a bunch of mods that I had installed, and I went ahead and just removed them all. This is vanilla here because it was causing some of them were causing issues with my headlights, and it was making it very difficult to see. So I decided, you know what, as nice as it is to have all the cool little mods and stuff like that, a lot of times it just makes it more difficult to drive, and we're just gonna go back to the stock game and try to enjoy it that way. And if you guys have some mods that you really want to see, we can kind of go ahead and do that. But for the most part, especially since they, you know, just did a major update and supposedly adjusted some things with like lighting and things like that, I kind of want to experience that and see what it looks like in the stock version of the game before I go back and maybe start adding some of the go back and start adding some of the mods that might look nicer. See what I mean? Like if I'm not super careful with the stick here, it ends up just slamming on the brakes, and then we way over brake, and then that's not great. I should have been on the lookout for a gas station because we're down to about a quarter of a tank, and I really don't want to end up running out of gas. So it's hard to talk and pay attention to things at the same time. For me, anyway, I'm not the kind of person who's good at multitasking. So it's better if I can have something that's super mindless that I don't really have to think about. Which, for the most part, this is. I mean, driving is a relatively mindless process most of the time. But then, you know, you get into having a conversation about something, and then you space out and forget what you're supposed to be looking for, and then you pass by what it was you needed, and then by the time you realize that it's too late. So I'm hoping that it looks like we're getting on the freeway here, which means that fuel is probably not going to be... Can I get to the map? Is there fuel near? Yeah, okay, so if we go up here, we'll be able to get fuel there. So I think that's what we're going to do. It's going to add a little bit of time onto our trip here, but I'd rather just get fuel now than to head down because one way or another, this isn't like Euro Truck Simulator where they have fuel stations right there on the highway or whatever. You end up having to exit the freeway anyway, so we might as well just drive right over here, hop into the fuel station, grab ourselves some diesel, and then we can come right back over here, and then we can head out. But then again, you run into something like this where now you have and you got, come on, the NPCs are almost always mean about it, so I'm kind of mean back. Just force my way over. Alright. So So, yeah, we'll head over here. We'll go get some gas, some diesel. We'll go get some diesel. There is a difference. I try to make that distinction, even though I know most people who do this probably know, but there's going to be people who hop into stuff like this, and they're not going to know. Like, you'd be surprised the number of people who don't know the difference between gasoline and diesel. So, for those of you who don't know, don't be ashamed if nobody told you, you don't know. But big trucks like this run off of diesel fuel, which is chemically different from the gasoline that you put in your regular car. If you put one fuel in and it's the wrong fuel, if you put diesel in a gasoline engine or you put gasoline in a diesel engine, you can ruin that engine because they're formulated to run on a different kind of combustion. Gasoline engines run off of a formula that requires a spark to make it ignite. No amount of compression or anything no amount of squeezing the fuel or anything like that is, I mean, I'm sure at a certain point it would, but it's not designed so that, it's designed to require that as you squeeze the fuel-air mixture together, once it reaches a certain point, it still needs an electrical spark to cause it to actually ignite the fuel. Whereas diesel is formulated in a way to where when you get a certain amount of pressure, like the piston goes up and squeezes the fuel-air mixture, once it reaches a certain point, and the temperature is high enough to make that mix work the right way. Once the piston squeezes the fuel-air mixture enough, it ignites all by itself. It doesn't require an external spark to make that happen. But the thing is that it just the fuels work in a different way, and they also just it'll really screw up your engine if you put the wrong type of fuel in. So I do try to make a distinction when I'm talking about. There was gas here, right? Did I pass it? I think I passed it because the icon's over there on the left, which means that I was not paying. This is what happens when I start talking about things. I space out and I forget what I'm doing, and I stop looking for whatever it is I'm supposed to be looking for, and then this happens. Okay, so I think, am I able to get? Okay, I can come over here, and ideally, I actually overshot enough to where the trailers aren't going to hit anything. All right, let's turn that off. So you just want to make sure you're always grabbing the right fuel type for your vehicle. And I try to make sure that I actually make that distinction anytime I'm talking about that kind of stuff because, you know, it can be confusing for people who don't know. And a lot of people, you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't know. Okay, so now we can head back out to... Well, you know what? I am just going to go for it. Sorry there, guys, but it's very difficult to back this thing out. So, do I go? Okay, I gotta go to the right to get out of here. I'm gonna go to the right to get out of here, and then we'll take the left and come back around to the freeway, and then we can actually get on the road, which will be nice. We've been stuck in this town for 9 minutes and 50 seconds now, so it's time to go. Alright. Ideally, once we get on the freeway, the mileage will go down pretty quick. If you're not familiar with the simulator, time and distance are relative in this game. So, in this I don't know. It's a game. I mean, you want to say simulator, and it's American Truck Simulator, but you know, realistically, it's a game. You can turn it into a simulator if you have enough equipment and stuff like that, and you treat it seriously enough. But the fact that you're able to change the rules and turn off consequences and things like that, it's a game. So anyways, what I'm trying to get to is, you know, honestly, I don't know. Time and distance are relative in this game. So when you're in a populated area, such as a city or a town or something like that, it gets a lot closer to the distance that you're covering, like that you're visually covering is actually closer to the distance that you're actually covering. But then once you get on like a freeway or something like that and you get away from the actual towns and stuff, I'm just going to roll through this red light here. Once you get through the actual towns and stuff and you get on the freeway and you're kind of in between populated areas, they do kind of a condensing of the distance so that you don't actually have to drive the simulated distance between two major points of interest. So, you know, whereas, you know, the distance between San Diego and Las Vegas is several hundred miles, I think. yeah, it's a couple hundred miles at least. I think it's several hundred miles. I think it takes a long. I haven't done the drive in a long time, but I think it's several hundred miles. The actual distance in game is more like, I don't know, 20, 30 miles, something like that. But they still tick down however many miles. So like this 500-mile trip that we're doing up to the northern part of Idaho it's 500 miles simulated, but realistically in the game right here, we're probably only going to do maybe 30, something like that. Let's get the high beams. Where's my high beams? They're automatic. I forgot they're automatically controlled. So yeah, now we're on the freeway, and you're going to watch the mileage numbers going down pretty quickly. And it's very clear that we're not actually covering the distance that quickly. It's just the distances in this game are relative. So that's the way that kind of works. We're going to try to quickly get down to the halfway point, because we're already 12 minutes in. I have to say, my throat hurts already, because I've already done several videos today, because I finally started making videos for my travel channel that I kind of want to get off the ground. As you can see behind me, I live in a travel trailer, and my goal is to get on the road. And in addition to this gaming channel that I'm doing, I kind of want to try to get a travel channel off the ground where where we go around and film ourselves at different locations, maybe do some information kind of things. Like, I really like those videos back in the day where you would watch somebody and they would give you information about where you are and some history about it and things like that. So I kind of want to try to do something like that. Excuse me. Excuse me again. My throat is really dry. I need to get a drink when I'm done with this video. Yeah. I want to try to get that off the ground, but before we can do that, we actually have to get on the road, and that means, getting the trailer ready and getting my truck ready and getting a bunch of different things ready so that everything is prepared for us to go do that. And I've been doing videos. I'm publishing them once a week over on that channel to try to outline, kind of where we are right now, some of the future plans of what we want to do to the trailer to get it ready to go. I talk about my personal diesel truck, which is a sad story, if I'm perfectly honest. Sad story that I knew was probably going to happen. I guess we can talk about that since we have some time. I bought a 2010 Ford F-250 with the Power Stroke, the 6.4 Power Stroke. Excuse me. And the red flag on it was that it had, when I bought it, over 500,000 miles on it. I bought it knowing that. I bought it knowing that it was probably going to have some issues. It was probably going to have some serious issues because it's already a really old, a really worn out engine, and it's the 6.4. So anybody who knows anything about the Ford Power Stroke engines knows that the 6.0 and 6.4 liter engines are generally regarded as unreliable. So I got a relatively decent deal on the truck. The amount that I paid for it, even with the problems that I assumed it was going to have, was a pretty decent deal. The truck overall is pretty solid, except for the fact that the engine is just pretty much done. And then you got this guy right here who's deciding he's going to drive 5 miles under the speed limit in the left lane. It's just like, I'd like to get around. I don't like being behind. As much as I like driving big trucks, I don't like being behind them because you can't see anything. And I would love to get past this guy, and that way we can have open road in front of us, and maybe the high beams will actually turn back on. Maybe the high beams will actually turn on, and I can see where we're going. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop the speed up to 5 over the speed limit. I have penalties turned off because of a couple of the things that are outside of your control that can happen in this game, and I don't want to be penalized for those things. So the likelihood of us actually getting a speeding ticket is 0. So realistically, in real life, you could generally speed 5, 10, at least in a regular car, you can speed 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit, and most of the time, law enforcement isn't going to make a big deal out of it. On a truck, I think they're probably a little bit more strict about it, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So it looks like they want us to get off on this exit here. We're already down to the 420 mile mark, so we've already got a fair bit of distance down. But I think we might be getting onto regular highways, which yeah, we're getting on Idaho 55, which means that the speed limit on here, it could be anything. I don't know. It could be 55. It's gonna suck if it is. 50. Great. I'm hoping that once we get past the little populated part here that it's going to speed up a little bit. Not a big fan of driving in the dark. I did turn off the fatigue simulation, and I probably should have went and slept anyway because driving in the dark, especially in this game, kind of sucks. You can't see anything. And especially you as the audience with the issues that dark environments typically tend to have on YouTube. I'm sure you guys can't really see much of anything outside of, you know, me and some of the truck. I don't know. We'll have to see how the YouTube compression messes with things. But it would be really nice if we could get a green light. There we go. Yeah, so the speed's already bumping up to 55 as we get to the edge of town here, and hopefully it'll pop up again to, say, at least 65. That would be nice. I see another speed limit sign up there, so hopefully that's another bump in speed. No, it just says 55. Come on, green light. I would really like. I forgot the sound bars on this thing really start getting kind of frozen up when I'm playing games like this that have a lot of CPU usage. I'm pretty sure this game has a lot of CPU usage because it's always the high CPU games that end up making my audio mixer bars like glitchy. It's really frustrating. Now we have to haul all this weight back up to 55 miles an hour. I'm really hoping that it's going to hop back up into the 60, 65 mile an hour range. I don't really want to do 400 miles at 55 miles an hour. That's a little slow. All right. The really dark dark road back here, though. So it won't it's not going to surprise me if it ends up being 55 the whole way, or at least 55 on this long stretch of road here, because it looks like it's twisty and it's not well lit either. So I need to get over to the right side of the road though, so my trailers don't hit anything. Hopefully they're not going to make a stop at this way station up here. See. I'm gonna set it at 60 because I'm gonna follow the of course they want me to. So now we have to yet again get this massive bulk of freight up to 55, 60 again. Sorry guys, but I need to get over. Alright. With any luck, we can stop having interruptions and actually get this next 100 miles or so down before the video gets too much longer. I think we're going to stop at 300 miles rather than 250 because we're already at the 20-minute mark, and it's going to take us a good 5-ish minutes at least to get through the rest of this. Just gotta make sure I don't run into the back of these trucks here, though. The problem, especially the problem in like games like in simulators like this, the depth perception. You don't really have any depth perception because it's a 2D space. So sometimes it takes a little bit to realize, oh wait, they're stopping in front of me, and I end up having to slam on my brakes sometimes. You can play this game in VR, and I have, but I don't have a powerful enough system to be able to run this in VR at any decent kind of quality. So I end up being unable to read road signs and things like that, and that's kind of frustrating. So it's easier to just, I'd rather lose my depth perception and actually be able to see what's going on than to have the cool VR feeling and the depth perception and the feeling like I'm in the truck and not be able to know where I'm going. Well, at least we got some income from one of our drivers. If I remember correctly, one of the frustrations I was having towards the end of our last run of driving the trucks around in this game, I had drivers that kept losing money, like they were costing me money, and that was getting really frustrating. So hopefully we'll have a lot more of that and a lot less of the red negative numbers that are that sometimes pop up over there. It gets kind of annoying. Get around these turns here. I do believe that I may go ahead and just do a time lapse for the next episode, because I just don't have much voice left in me. Or I may just let it go. I may not even do another episode. I may just wait till tomorrow and do it then. As much as I want to keep the videos going consistently every day, I don't know that I need to do that. See what I mean? Like, they're stopping, and I didn't even realize that they were stopping until I was almost on top of them. I think we're climbing a hill. It's making it take a very long time to get back up to speed. So every time these guys slow down to an unnecessary level, we have to slowly claw our way back up to the speed that we were at before. And unfortunately, in this game, the drivers don't really drive with a consciousness of that. They just, whatever the speed limit of that turn is supposed to be, they just slow down to that. So rather than, you know, having something where, because I guess there's probably a lot of drivers out there, a lot of truck drivers out there who do that. I would just wish it happened a lot less in this game, because look how long it's taking us to get back up to 60 miles an hour. But at least the speed limit has popped back up to 65, so if we can get these guys to stop, if we can get these guys to quit stopping in front of me, maybe we could get some speed back up and get up to a decent rate here. Because I mean, we could be doing 65, but these guys would. See what I mean? Like, just because it's a turn, they slow down like they're coming to a stop sign or something. It's really annoying. Well, we are down to the 336 miles left, and because of how long it took us to get out of that town, I don't think I'm going to worry about getting to the halfway point. I think we're going to go ahead and call it here, because, yeah, my voice is more or less done. I don't even know if I have another episode in me, so we're going to go ahead and pull over here at this gas station and call it a night. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to click the like button, join the channel as subscribe to the channel to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join the channel as a member for early access to videos, among other things. Or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. Again, thank you very much for your time. Join us for the next episode when it comes out, and I'll see you then.